the face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good. Night.
Your Petit Filous water seems to be working a hell of a lot better than your monster, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not acting like I'm hopped up on cocaine or pills, am I?
Or as hyper as you were from the last time we did the
Exactly,
show.
I've got a level balance now. Billy Bedlam gave me some of his calming down pills that he takes from William.
Okay.
And
William gives them to him?
Well, he forces them. He has to calm himself down because he just gets himself too riled up.
Yeah.
And I gotta say they're working.
So what you're saying is you did a Bedlam 2 weeks ago?
I did a Bedlam. I did a Bedlam. I can't say... I don't know if I can say it's a Bedlam because, you know, doing a Bedlam is a lot crazier than just me acting like a child hopped up on sugar during the show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had 2 weeks to calm down. I've had a long look in the mirror at myself. Not laying off the monster, just choosing when to drink it.
It smells like cherries, like to be fair.
It smells like
Petit
a Petit
Filous,
Filous.
This is Petit Filous, though. It's even better.
It's sparkling ice, black raspberry flavoured sparkling water.
Nice.
It's fantastic. And it tastes a little bit like a Petit Filous as well.
Yeah. Anyway, live here on 90.3 near FM and on all good podcasting providers on the EMC Podcast Network. Welcome to another edition of the Kick Out, your weekly pro wrestling guides with me, Dave Cullen, and WWE's new head writer, Daragh Maher. How are you this afternoon?
New head creative writer, yes. Yeah, just got the job. There was surprisingly a lot of people who quit recently.
Who pulled out?
Yeah, they...
Oh, I didn't even... But no, how did the job interview go?
Bravo, sir. Bravo, sir. Well, the interview I thought went well.
Okay.
He told me that I had to reach out for this opportunity. And I had to grab it and hold on to it as tightly as I could if I wanted to stay in the job.
Yeah.
And he says on my first day, which I find very exciting, he says that I'm going to get to hang out with Randy Orton on my first day.
How about that?
You know? Yeah, I can't...
I heard he has an interesting handshake.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to rack his brain and see what's going on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's see what his years of wisdom can do for you. Anyway,
yeah.
So
hopefully, I know there's some initiation with guys, and I can understand that. You know, maybe chops or something like that. Hopefully, he's not too stiff with me.
Yeah, or too stiff. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens anyway.
You know, he could be a real ball ache as a guy to deal with, you know.
Anyway, we're coming to you from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock. I'll be here bringing you the latest action from the world of pro wrestling. We'll be covering the latest action from 553 Pro Wrestling's Grapple Games just gone, the conclusion of this year's G1 Climax, and all the regular stuff from WWE heading into SummerSlam weekend. I'll also be previewing events coming up from the likes of OTT and Mainstage Wrestling and Phoenix Wrestling, all coming soon. All to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
It seems like an occurring theme now. We have to put the music down at the start of every news lately. So unfortunately, we have another passing away, unfortunately, in the wrestling business. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, best known as a member of the Hart Foundation, Hart family, and the long-term tag team partner Bret Hart, passed away during the week on Monday, I believe it was, in Tampa, age 63. According to Ross Hart, his brother-in-law, the death was due to a grand mal seizure related to his Alzheimer's disease that Neidhart has been suffering for some time. Of course, he's best known, as we mentioned, being part of the Hart Foundation, considered one of the best tag teams of the late 80s, early 90s, with Bret Hart, known for his more outgoing personality and the original star and the powerhouse of the team. Bret Hart being the technical wrestler who carries them inside the ring, while best remembered as heels, he also were strong as babyfaces while enjoying 2 reigns as WWE Tag Team Champions. So he also made a few runs in Japan. I didn't know this until I saw this, but he was involved in the G1 Climax. I think when Bret Hart became a single star, he broke out a bit more, like in the likes of Japan, stuff like that. So, but he's this loss is particularly felt in WWE because, and the Hart family, because like he's such a like, from what I've heard, he's such a huge presence and such a huge personality. So,
yeah, of course, and obviously in the last few years, last 10 years, obviously with his daughter Natalia, obviously a vital member of the WWE roster, and I think the fact that we got to see him so often in the Total Diva show as well, you got a glimpse into what he's like now.
Yeah.
And you got a glimpse into his illness.
I don't watch that now, so I
his
don't know
little
about
bit as
yourself.
well. I watched a bit of it, and he is a prominent part of it as well. And yeah, it's such a shocking loss.
Yeah,
This came out of nowhere.
literally. Because a lot of the deaths we got this year were they were sort of coming. Vader's,
Well,
for
like
example.
not even sort of coming. Like
Well, we knew they were sick.
we knew they were sick in different ways.
Mm.
Yeah, like or there could have been old age involved. You know, like as shocking as, say, for example, Brian Christopher's
Of course.
death was. You could see a trend of stuff happening with constant arrests and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You worried for him.
Mm.
I think then we knew that, obviously, as you said in the news report itself, that he was suffering with Alzheimer's disease. But we thought that was something that he had controlled.
Yeah.
And he thought that something he was actually able to live with. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. I can't say that I've seen a lot of Neidhart matches in the Hart Foundation days. Have seen a few of them, and yet, like, he was the powerhouse of that.
It's ironic enough because this week I watched or rewatched Wrestling with Shadows, the famous Bret Hart documentary leading up to the Montreal Screwjob. And it's very strange because you got to see what he was like backstage talking to him, and how him and Bret Hart built up a promo, and how it was and how he delivered it as well. So it's kind of insightful in that sense as well. You know what's so strange about that video, by the way? Vader. The first 11 minutes of it were Vader, Jim Neidhart, and Aretha Franklin, all of whom have died inside the past months.
Jeez.
So it's kind of strange, isn't it?
Jesus, yeah.
Anyway, obviously us here in the kick out, and I hate saying, I feel like we say this too often now. Which is more of the shame of this particular story this week. Obviously, all of us in the kick out want to wish everyone, their friends and family involved, all the best wishes and the best at this particular hard time.
Yeah,
So,
not only to the Neidhart family, but I guess also to the Franklin family too. Because, like you just mentioned, Aretha Franklin died this week. Of course,
Yeah.
sang "America the Brave" at WrestleMania 3.
That's it.
That was her connection to wrestling, but obviously she was a very successful singer outside of that.
She's
too.
the queen of soul.
Exactly.
100%. So obviously commiserations to her as well. We'll move on. Unfortunately, other sad news. Now usually we're not ones to break kayfabe concerning events coming up, but a very unfortunate injury has happened during the Mae Young Classic tapings.
Yes, Negan Knox, also known in her indie days as Nixon Newell, seriously injured her left leg during Mae Young Classic tapings. She was in the early stages of a match against Rhea Ripley when she went for a dive. Upon impact, her left leg gave out. The match was stopped shortly thereafter and awarded to Ripley as medical officials came to Knox's aid. The crowd were said to be silent as Knox was visibly in pain and crying. Later during tapings, Triple H came out and indicated that she suffered a broken leg. Now that isn't confirmed, of course, but Knox, who competed on the indie scene, as I said, as Nixon Newell, had just signed a developmental deal with WWE when she tore her right ACL before the Mae Young Classic tapings last year, I should say, which she was scheduled to be part of. She returned to the ring in April this year and had been working NXT house shows before being announced as a competitor for this year's tapings. Knox posted a statement about the injury on Twitter. She called the past 2 days the best experience of her life despite what happened. She said the support she's received has been overwhelming and vowed to come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, credit to her for being so positive about the whole thing. I mean, like, because that's like the very worst thing that can happen, especially on the back of coming back from like a serious injury that she had. So it's you can only it's so heartbreaking for her, I have to say.
Horrible look. Hopefully it's not a broken leg, but I heard that it was about the knee as well. So, but this is her left knee that they were talking about. Not her right. She did her ACL in her right knee last year.
So it's not. So
This is her left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the same leg.
No, if there is anything to be hopeful about it, at least it was the other leg. But fingers crossed she can get back. It's just horrible look since she signed for WWE.
I know.
Absolutely.
And she couldn't get into the last one or last year due to injury.
If you follow her on social media, she's been having a world of a time since she got back in the ring doing house shows with NXT. She's been tagging with
In Progress as well.
In Dakota Kai. She didn't actually do the Progress show.
Well, she was involved.
She was meant to.
Oh yeah,
but she had to pull
right.
out because of an injury. I think she had a heel injury from the
Donington
show.
You're right.
Download.
You're right. The Dakota Kai took her place. Yeah.
But it's just awful. Absolutely awful. Hopefully she can come back, like we said, stronger than ever, like she has vowed to. And hopefully when there's a tour taping of the Mae Young Classic, she will be there.
Awesome. Well, we obviously wish her all the best anyway. So, some more interesting news this week, or this was actually more in the back of last week. And obviously last week we weren't around for a show, but this was probably one of the more interesting
the
stories.
old saying when they say no news is good news?
Yeah.
This is all this news.
Colt Cabana, real name Scott Colton, had filed a lawsuit against CM Punk Phil Brooks over legal fees from Dr. Chris Iman's information suits against him. Cabana is suing Punk for breach of contract and fraud, with Cabana alleging that Punk texted him that he would be 100% covered in the Eamon case. Cabana is seeking $200,000 in general damages and $1 million in punitive and explanatory damages. I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. Cabana claims that Punk's assurance that he would be covered is the reason he didn't comply with the letter he was sent by Eamon's counsel, demanding that he take down the November 2014 episode of the Art of Wrestling podcast that Punk appeared on. It also demanded that Cabana issue a retraction for Punk's critical comments due to the lack of care he received from Eamon whilst in WWE. Cabana's lawsuit states that he and Punk employed the firm Loeb & Loeb to defend him in March 2015 with the retention agreement saying that it was understood that Punk would be responsible for paying for the invoices. Cabana notified Loeb & Loeb that they prepared to restrain separate counsel, but he said they came to agreement for them to continue representing both Punk and Cabana, with Punk covering the fees going forward. Loeb & Loeb then withdrew as Cabana's counsel in March 2017, with Cabana believing that Punk caused him to do so. The jury ruled in favour for Punk and Cabana in the Eamon trial this June. Cabana hired Kerry Stein of Ashman and Stein after Loeb & Loeb withdrew to represent them. Following the trial, though, Cabana's counsel notified Punk of Cabana's demand of reimbursement of approximately $200,000 in fees and net costs. Loeb & Loeb informed them that Punk refused to do so. Straight away, looking at this, all this cost of cover of costs was when they were with one firm, as opposed to the firm that was with them towards the end.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm particularly confused about. So, will that interfere then in Cabana then getting his damages back?
Because there's another firm?
Exactly, because that was an agreement on one firm as opposed to the one you're on now. When there was no agreement made at all, by the sound of things.
No, I read up a little bit on this during the week.
Yeah, I just saw that and thinking, that's evidence against you big time, though.
So, leading up to the case,
right?
After Punk had sent this text saying he'd be 100% covered, Punk text Cabana, and he said that, look, the fee has gone up to the fee has gone up to over $400,000. You have to start paying half from now on. That's when Cabana said, actually, no, you said you'd take care of all of it, not when it reached a certain amount. So then that led to Punk and Cabana having the argument, which is interesting because I think this time last year, was it maybe, or something like that, that we heard the report that Punk and Cabana are no longer friends. Now we know why.
I didn't even know this until then. So
yeah. So Cabana then, obviously Punk then said, I'm not continuing to pay for your legal fees so you can get away from my lawyer. So that's when Cabana hired the new people. So Punk told him to stay away. So that's who he had, and obviously he's now seeking reprimand to pay his own lawyers.
And a lot of it as well.
A lot of it, yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see where that goes.
$400,000 in legal fees. Like, what would that mean? No, I obviously know what that means, but what would that entail?
So what do you mean?
Why? How? What are these lawyers doing to rack up $400,000 in fees?
I have no idea. I think I just said, law is a very well-paid. Being a lawyer is a very high-paying job. That's my only answer to that, really.
True.
We'll have to see what happens with it anyway. To more very interesting news now.
To some actual good news.
Yeah, it's actual good news now.
Good
finally.
news.
Go ahead
The
there.
April 6, 2019 Ring of Honor and New Japan Wrestling G1 Supercard event has sold out.
Not only sold out.
In Madison Square Garden, but like you said there, not only sold out, but it is among the quickest sellouts of a pro wrestling event in the history of the building.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable.
It's incredible.
Unbelievable.
I'm delighted for them.
Yeah. The official time of the sellout was between 13 and 16 minutes. Compared that to the 30 minutes it took to sell out All In as well.
That's amazing. No,
And these are non-WWE
I'm very curious
shows.
what this would be like compared to a WrestleMania 1, 10, and 20. If that's slower or quicker.
Yeah. I have no idea. The capacity of 15,000 was less than the 20,000 that had been used before the days of staging big wrestling events, in the days of Bruno Sammartino and even Hulk Hogan. But not even in those days, tickets rarely sold out more than a week in advance. And
No internet.
even then, they had the biggest cards. Exactly. No MSG wrestling show has ever sold out nearly 8 months in advance with no matches announced. Just imagine, no matches have been announced.
But that's how big
The
Ring
name.
of Honor and New Japan have gotten.
Exactly.
Especially New Japan.
Exactly. Last pro wrestling sellout in MSG was 2015, and it was also sold out 7 times in the last decade for pro wrestling.
Which is ironic because I think that's around, that's probably the last time they actually did a proper show, or maybe just after that. Whereas WWE, but that was probably for a house show as opposed to a live show, because they rarely do them in Madison Square Garden anymore, because as we talked about before, too expensive to run compared to the Barclays Centre.
That's why MSG wants to give it to someone else.
Yeah.
'Cause they have WrestleMania, of course, in New York this year.
Yeah.
And they're not going to use it for the Raw or SmackDown after.
Vince, this is what you get. They didn't stick around, and you have every right to be angry. But
Like we mentioned, when you rest on your laurels, the guys chasing you are going to come.
I've actually concluded now, and I'll talk about this when we talk about SmackDown later on in particular. Vince McMahon is sleeping a lot on a lot of things. But this is one of them.
His eyes. I don't think that he's sleeping. I think he's distracted by the XFL. And we said this. We said this when it was announced that the XFL was going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
But
Hello,
we'll get
Triple
into
H is here as well.
Yeah,
Use him.
We'll get into it later.
Anyway, to what we were referring to earlier on to start, this is probably the funniest story. It's funny to me, like it's probably horrible for everyone involved, but it's funny to me the way I see it. WWE are looking into claims that Randy Orton inappropriately touched himself in years past when meeting new writers.
Hold on, what?
The allegations suffered this week after a Reddit user revives the story told by Court Bear during a 2012 edition of the MLW podcast. What follows is a transcription from the user. He said, quote, "For every new writer that would show up, he comes into the room, put his hand down his pants, pull out his dick, touch himself and say, 'I'm Randy Orton, shake my hand.' Oh, you don't want to shake my hand? You're big leaguing me? That's effed up, man. Should I tell Vince and Steph you won't shake Randy Orton's hand?" The story went on. End quote.
Hold on.
Let me finish.
How am I meant to be a writer if that's going to happen?
The story went on that during these incidents, writers would continue to feel uncomfortable as Orton cut a promo on them whilst remaining exposed. WWE released a brief statement to F4WOnline.com saying they're looking into the matter. Maher said he avoided the situation as Stephanie McMahon walked into the room at the time Randy was reaching for his pants. But Maher said the story was true when asked on Twitter last Friday, adding that a separate tweet that he has no quarrels against Orton. The 38-year-old Orton has been the company since he signed the developmental deal since 2000. Well, we know what you're getting yourself into now.
So
he doesn't look happy at all.
He takes a dump in bags, puts his hand down his pants, he whips out his dick, and he makes people shake his hand.
Bring aloe vera with you. That's my advice. Well, there's nothing more to say about that.
Bring aloe vera.
Yeah, that's what people.
You're gonna need. You're gonna need a lifetime. You're gonna need a lifetime supply of hand sanitizer.
That's what I mean. It comes in aloe vera.
Hand sanitizer. That's what you're gonna need.
That's what I meant. Well, we'll move on anyway.
Did you hear the story about John Cena though?
No.
I can't remember was it Randy talking about it, or was someone talking about John, saying like John's a man. He just like gets on with stuff and he lets nothing bother him. And he says that there was a time when Randy Orton was doing this whipping out his dick thing, and he came up behind John, whipped out his dick and put it on his shoulder while John was having a conversation with writers. John looked at the penis on his shoulder, turned it back and just kept on talking as if nothing was going on.
No.
True professionalism, John.
Yeah.
True professionalism.
I can't get more professional than that,
You
to be
know?
fair. We'll finish off the news anyway with a story concerning Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, in a new interview, Daniel Bryan has noted that he was leaning towards staying with WWE.
Nice.
Bryan was on the Sam Roberts podcast when Roberts noted that since Bryan is featured in the new WWE 2K19 video game, including the new 2K Showcase mode, well, the returning 2K Showcase mode, that he might be staying with WWE beyond September 1 when his contract expires. Daniel said he didn't want to give too many details, but he did give a probability of the chances of that happening. I think at this point it will be a 90%, he told Roberts. It's very likely I'll re-sign with WWE. Bryan further noted that as of the show's recording, which was around August 6th, that he had not re-signed with the company, and that it might be a few weeks before negotiations were completed. Bryan said in a previous interview that he would likely not resign with the company if he wasn't able to wrestle. He was cleared in March of this year and teamed up with Shane McMahon to defeat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania.
It brought up an interesting point though, that he isn't got. They're going to be in the front of the 2K19. Do you think that could be an influence of WWE trying to make him stay before resigning, or a part of negotiations, if you like?
I don't think they're part of negotiations. I think he's just playing a coy. I don't think they would make this game mode for him if he wasn't staying.
Yeah, so it certainly makes it interesting going into SummerSlam. The result might not be as obvious to him, which I find it intriguing. That's why I'm thinking, well, Miz could win now.
Could.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to say.
Yeah,
I'm not saying.
We'll talk about that.
We have our prediction video, which will be already out actually by the time the podcast is out.
Yeah,
so,
with Nathan. So
yeah, so if you want to find out who we picked, go watch the video. It's on YouTube.
Now, before we move on, we didn't mention this in the news because it's more of like a spat, if you like, the way I see it.
It's not a spat. It's a serious problem.
But it's a general problem though. Like you have a different view to it. Like you know more into it than I do. But it's concerning the Dave Meltzer situation where he talked about Peyton Royce on his podcast.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody is more than aware of what he had to say. And why? Like, why does he have to be that guy? If you know what I mean. Why do you have to be that guy? I know you're trying. Like, people are trying to play this off like it's tongue in cheek because she got enhancement surgery.
But you know what that is? That's just the whole situation snowballing on Twitter and the likes.
It's not snowballing on Twitter.
It is though.
It's not though.
But he didn't say anything about body enhancements, did he?
But
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying.
He talked about she was a lot lighter.
Yeah,
whether that's about body enhancement or not, or whether it's about weight or not, there's no way he should be saying anything like that. No way should he be. God, it's 2018. You don't. And this guy is one of the most influential guys in the wrestling scene at the moment. Ever.
Yeah, well, journalists anyway. So
journalist-wise, yeah, He has a lot of sway with people, and a lot of people like value his opinion on wrestling. Don't know why, but they do.
Let me ask you though, considering, let's say, for example, like you mentioned how maybe it can be inappropriate to let's say mention if like certainly in terms of size, could you argue? Let's say for example Dean Ambrose, who's a lot bigger now since his return.
Yeah.
Would it be weird to let's say like make comments of his size, regardless of if it's enhanced or whatever,
that he got bigger,
as opposed to someone like Peyton Royce?
That he got bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what
let me counteract that.
But you know what I'm trying to say, though?
I do know what you're trying to say, but let me counteract that.
Talking about the men as well as the women.
Let me counteract that.
Right.
Okay. It's not a social stigma, and it's not socially unacceptable to go to a guy and say, "Man, you're looking bigger." In the way that Dean Ambrose is.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
You know, you can't say this stuff like where you say to a woman, "You're looking bigger," because today's society, and it's not even today's society, it's society in general for a long, long time, has been putting women under pressure to look basically perfect. That's what they're under pressure to do.
All this advertising, saying buy the products and so on, like
the amount of work that not only Peyton Royce, every single woman on that roster, every single woman in any sort of every single woman ever is under pressure from society to look well. The amount of work she must have to do on a daily basis to try and keep her looks the way it is, you know? Because if they don't, people start talking about her looks like Dave Meltzer did. And then you put in this spiral where if she's listening to this stuff, and it's going to cause some sort of depression, mental illness, it's going to make anyone feel terrible. And it's important for younger girls as well, because if they listen to this and they're listening to Dave Meltzer talk about how Peyton Royce needs to look or has looked lighter before, they're thinking in their head, I need to look lighter.
Well, it certainly doesn't help that someone like Dave Meltzer talks about this as opposed to maybe some idiot on Twitter, you know, because he's supposed to be the one who's maybe gone away from that, shouldn't be saying that.
But the thing is, he's so...
And because he says it, and as he's mentioned, he's influential, he has spread in the wrestling industry, it doesn't help.
He's so picky and choosy about who he's going to go after. He goes after Peyton Royce, and it wasn't just this she's looked lighter stuff. He hammered her there. In that, you listen to that clip, and it wasn't just about the she's a lot lighter. He hammered her clip about what she was like in NXT and stuff like that. She was more attractive in NXT.
Well, he was saying beforehand.
He wouldn't say anything about Michael Elgin, though, would he?
But he was saying beforehand. Yeah, but as I said, that's very.
But no, because Michael Elgin was a source for him and a friend for him, he wouldn't mention the Michael Elgin. It would be called accusation because there was no formal charges, but it's pretty much there.
Yeah.
That what he did with what was her name? What she's?
Oh yeah, that situation.
Moses Malone.
Yeah.
That's what her name is. Doesn't say anything about that, you know. Doesn't talk about the fact that what he did to her. He goes onto private message boards and gives out the girl's name and address as well. It was traced back. It was traced back. That's what Meltzer did. He was defending his friend Elgin, even though everyone knows Elgin was the guilty one there.
Yeah. The way I see it, just looking back at the whole thing, because I was really unaware of this most of the thing. Like, I was going through the news today and discovered this for the first time, and from hearing the comments you sent me, it wasn't inappropriate. It wasn't appropriate the way he said it, but the way it seems to me that was just like a slip on the tongue, in my opinion. Because let's think about the lead up of what he was saying. He was just comparing her to NXT, but he was comparing her as the way she presents herself as a wrestler, as opposed to the way she looks.
But in the clip,
until it got to the
clip,
attractiveness and so on,
that he was saying that she was more attractive in NXT. Then Alvarez comes back and says, not to say she's not attractive at all. She is a very attractive woman. That should have ended it there.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's the thing.
Meltzer had to go back again, and he had to say, "Oh, she looked lighter."
Yeah, that's where it was. No, I understand. No, I'm totally for that. But Alvarez did him the favor of stopping. Like, he really did. And
Alvarez tried to.
He did.
Alvarez tried to say, "You're getting into bad territory here."
Yeah.
without obviously saying it on air.
I can only imagine. And the funny thing is that clip you showed me. Like, if there's an awkward silence after that, I would have loved to hear it.
I know.
You know.
But like the one.
But anyway, no.
The one good thing.
But all I'm saying is like from what you've showed me, that's the way I call it. Like, you know. But at the same time, it doesn't take away the fact that what you said was out of term. The
one positive note that I would like that you can see from this is the amount of support that is coming from this.
Yeah.
Towards her, and people are realizing that these barbaric caveman-like comments just won't stand anymore. Now, there are a load of nonces out there, and I have no problem calling them nonces, that are trying to defend what he said.
Right.
They're trying to say, everyone's jumping to the conclusion.
For the record,
it's PC gone wrong. No, it's not PC gone wrong.
But for the record, I'm not defending that. I'm not defending him whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, it seems like it's out of term until he said that, which he shouldn't have. End of story. Like, you know.
I know you're not trying to defend.
Because I'm not saying it seemed like what he said was out of accident until Alvarez corrected him. Then he went and said that, and then that was ridiculous. It should have been stopped there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's like that. That's it. Like, in the day, like, you know, we've said this many times during this show. Like, we call it as we see it, but at the same time, there's what you can say and what you can't say.
Can I ask you this? Because this is a story that's after just popping up, right?
Right.
I'm going to read this to you.
Go for it.
Read the headline, okay? And I'll go into the story a little bit. This is moving on from the Peyton Royce story.
Yeah, okay.
This is just after popping up.
All right, go for it.
Headline. Hulk Hogan says wrestlers who didn't accept his apology don't understand brotherhood of wrestling.
He probably... I don't know. Well, I don't even know what to say.
Okay, let me just...
It's not 1996 anymore, Hulk Hogan.
This is more trouble than it needs to be. The backstage apology Hulk Hogan gave to WWE roster was not accepted by everyone, and in a new interview, Hulkster says those wrestlers don't understand the brotherhood of wrestling. No, Hulk, people just don't want to forgive a racist. Okay? That's what they don't want to do. Hogan was a guest on the new podcast, The Apter Chat with Bill Apter, and he spoke in depth about WWE welcoming him back. Hulk says that it was first began with a text from Triple H checking in on him. Triple H, let me just go through. I'm going to go very quickly into this because I know we're tight for time.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hulk goes, a lot of people accepted my apology. A lot of people heard what they wanted to hear, and a lot of the narrative that came out of the meeting was on point. A lot of the narrative was really different. I was surprised to hear some people interpreted what I said, that I was just sorry that I got caught on camera or whatever they interpreted, but I never said that. As you may recall, The New Day and Titus O'Neil both spoke out after the meeting. O'Neil said that the apology lacked remorse, and The New Day claimed that they wouldn't associate with Hulk until he made a genuine effort to change. In the interview, Hulk had something to say about those who didn't accept his apology. He says, I just hope the brotherhood can get back to the way it was. Outside the ring, you're supposed to protect your brother. In this case, it's just reading these quotes. Is he in character by saying brother so many times?
He's so used to it. He said it for so many years.
Yeah. In this case, it's a situation where 75, 80, 90% of the wrestlers are protecting me and they're giving me another chance to move forward. There's just a few wrestlers that kind of don't understand the bond and the brotherhood of wrestling. If someone makes the mistake, you need to forgive them and move on and try and prove themselves. Yeah. And let them prove themselves, I should say.
Okay, but you have to understand, it doesn't take away the fact that what you did was wrong. And they're
what they're saying was disgusting.
And what exactly. And if they have every right to not accept your apology, if they genuinely believe it's gone wrong, don't say stuff like that. It's not
you
going to
say
be the case
it
at all.
once, slip of the tongue, understandable. But you know the transcript of what was said, right?
Yes.
He didn't say it once. He said it numerous times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the word. It was the fact that he was using stereotypes as well. Yeah. Oh, man. So they don't have to respect the brotherhood.
It's madness, isn't it?
You shouldn't be a racist old man. That's what you shouldn't be, Hulk.
I don't know.
Right?
Anyway, should we move on?
And now, just one more point.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry, really
No,
sorry.
I understand.
One more point about this whole thing. Like, when I heard he was going to make his apology in front of everyone, I was kind of like, okay, they're opening the door to a return. After this, I'm going to have to listen to this podcast, but after this, just don't have him anywhere near WWE ring.
Or at least we can seriously have a think about it, like, you know, because can you
that-
imagine the heat on backstage for this? If
Do you
he even does come back?
remember the news report that came out when they thought Bobby Lashley was going to go up against Brock at SummerSlam?
Yeah.
And they said that Hogan would come out and present the belt. Would you imagine the uproar?
No, Twitter will break. Twitter will literally break.
Anyway,
Let's continue on now. For a change, we're going to move a segment up closer to the start of the show. Now we're going to now talk about our previews of the week.
Why, look at what we have here, folks!
Now I have to say, like, this weekend,
respect the brotherhood. Jesus Christ.
let's try and be more positive. We have a huge couple of weeks coming up in Irish wrestling.
We do.
Starting tonight's OTT WrestleMania 2.
Yeah.
Happening tonight at the sold out arena in Slur Road in Dublin. So many good matches. They have more than hype against the Jet 100. Losing team must split. Sami Zayn, it was only announced this week actually, will be defending her OTT Women's title in a triple threat match against Valkyrie and Katie Harvey. The Kings of the North will be defending the OTT tag team titles against the Angel Cruisers. It'll be interesting to see what the Angel Cruisers, particularly Big Cool's mentality, gone to the match.
I know. Those promos have been great.
Oh, they've been fantastic.
I loved it. You watched the latest one, didn't you?
Yeah, sad to hear about Logan Bryce though.
Yeah. We've made our own
Tribute, if you like.
we've made our own tribute to the memory of Logan.
Again, too many people are dying, guys. Too many people. Club Cabana, or Club Tropicana, will be taking on Aussie Open. Kushida against Shane Strickland. David Starr against Timothy Thatcher, Juice Robinson, the IWGP US champion, will be taking on Tomohiro Ishii. And the main event, Jordan Devlin defending his OTT World title against new Progress World Champion Walter. Mm-hmm. He's now a Progress World Champion. He won it recently, so...
Yeah. We're not doing this for our own prediction league, but shall we give our own predictions maybe quickly?
We'll give a few very quick fire, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Right, more than hype is 100.
More than hype.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Sami Zayn, Valkyrie, Katie Harvey.
I'm going to say Valkyrie.
I'm going to say Katie Harvey.
She's on a hot streak at the moment, obviously winning the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship last week. Put the belt on her.
I'm going to go Katie
She came close last time.
I'm going to go Katie Harvey. I feel a bit of a heel turn for Harvey going against Valkyrie to win the title.
But wouldn't the heel turn be better after celebrating with Valkyrie after she wins?
True.
And then turning on her?
True, but it could happen when she wins the title as well. Mm-hmm. Kings of North, Angel Cruisers.
I'm going to go Angel Cruisers. B-Cool's head is just not in the game.
Exactly, and that's why Kings of North are going to win.
I meant Kings of North.
Yeah. Club Tropicana and Aussie Open.
I still believe Club Tropicana are on that you lose you're out sort of stipulation. At least I think they should be. So I'm going Club Tropicana.
I'm not sure if that's still in effect, but whatever the case, I think Tropicana, they're on the roll anyway, so I'm going to go anyway with that. Kushida, Strickland.
Kushida.
Yeah, same. Starr and Thatcher.
Thatcher.
Starr for me.
I'm going Thatcher. I think it's going to be, you think it's going to be a dominant night for Thatcher and Walter.
Yeah, I feel it'll be a very close match until Starr somehow pulls out the victory. So, Robinson and Sheehy.
I'm going to go Sheehy.
Same. Yeah, like Robinson will put up a fight being there, so. And then Devlin Walter.
I'm going Devlin. But Haskins is cashing in.
Does he actually still have the briefcase?
Because if I'm aware, yeah.
Didn't he cash it in in that last match?
No, Devlin just gave him the match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going Walter as well. I don't know if the cash is there. Yeah, I said Devlin too, sorry.
Yeah. You said I'm going Walter as well.
Oh, no, I meant Devlin. I meant stuff. Anyway, the very next...
I can't believe I'm missing this. All I want to see is Devlin lift up Walter for a package pile driver.
Yeah, should be interesting to see if it happens. Contenders is happening the next night as well. The Hangover 2 on Sunday, August 19th at the Ringside Club National Stadium in Dublin. Limited tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. What?
Predictions go.
All right, we'll go through the matches. Michael May, Sean Guinness.
Michael May.
That's a good match, isn't it?
Michael May.
Michael May too, yeah. Jordan Devlin and Shane Strickland against LJ Cleary and Nathan Martin.
Devlin and Strickland.
Yeah, same with there. Sky Davis and Juice Robinson.
I'm gonna go Sky.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think so.
Nah, Robinson's going to win that. It'll be a very good match, but I can't see Robinson losing. Martina, Katie Harvey, and Tony Storm against Raven Creed, Debbie Cattell, and Valkyrie.
This match is going to be class.
And
I'm going to go with the team of Storm, Harvey, and Martina.
I can agree
because I think we're going to see Keitel become heel Keitel in this.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a great way to
because she hasn't healed Keitel in OTT yet. So.
Not yet.
And Thatcher and Darren Carney for the NLW title.
I'd love to see Darren hold the title, but I think Thatcher's going to win.
Yeah, Thatcher's on a Raw at the moment anyway. So, obviously, the guys in Low Blows will be having not one but two parties this weekend as well. Tonight, they'll be having their first ever party for NXT. They'll be showing NXT Brooklyn. So it'll be starting at 11:30 straight after WrestleRama. So anyone looking for a place to drink after WrestleRama, this is perfect.
Yep.
Buskers in the Ball Temple Bar, and also they'll be doing SummerSlam starting at 8 o'clock, from my understanding, on Sunday, August 19th. Also at Buskers in the Ball at Temple Bar. There's tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Obviously, it's free for Low Blows Network subscribers. There'll be entertainment also. And they're doing raffles and stuff like that. They'll be having their Low Blows Got Talent competition again this for the SummerSlam.
Are you going to take part?
Maybe.
Ooh.
I'm the reigning champion in that, by the way.
You are?
Yeah, so but I don't know exactly what to do, so we'll have to see. Might crack a joke or something, we'll see. Next weekend, Phoenix Wrestling are back for their second show, Oops, We Did It Again, happening on Friday, August 24th at the Kino in Cork. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. A lot of really cool matches. We won't get to predictions yet, but we'll do that for next week, but we'll get through the matches anyway. Mm-hmm. So Session Matt Martina and Ricky Combat will be appearing. Session Matt will be making her debut, whereas Ricky Combat will be explaining his actions from the previous show where he attacked Terry Thatcher after the match.
He did a bad thing.
Indeed. Bailey Bedlam will take on the Fabulous Nikki. A fatal four-way between Bruiser, Scotty Davis, Steve Savage, and LJ Cleary. In a 6-person tag match, Flight Mode and Amy Alonzi will take on Collar and Elbow and Debbie Cattell. In a 3-way match, Katie Harvey, Raven Creed, and Valkyrie. The Armstrongs will be taking on Darren Carney and Nathan Martin of More Than Hype. And for the ICW World Championship, DCT will be defending the title against Terry Thatcher and Michael May. It's an interesting match. Only the second show they're doing. They already have the ICW title. That's class, isn't it? I know. So that's awesome for them. Also happening on Saturday week, Main Stage Wrestling will be back on August 25th for their next gym show, happening at their training academy at Calmore Park, Ballyfermot in Dublin. Tickets are €8 at the door. Doors open at 3:30 p.m. Matches announced includes Terry Thatcher against Angel Cruz in a street fight. The Fabulous Nikki against up-and-comer Danny Cross. Club Chapacana and Liam M. Wrights will take on Rough Stuff and Troy Mandos, if I mentioned that name right. In a 4-way match, Stephen Cavell, Scotty Davis, Gunther Isaac, and Jim West will be in a fatal 4-way. Callum Black is against Curtis Murray, and there's one more match announced just recently, actually. If you give me a second.
It's Emmy Alonzi and Team Prick against Rebecca Razor and the Mongols.
That's exactly the one. There we go. So a lot of awesome shows coming up anyway over the next couple of weeks. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will get to our results of the week, starting with Five Factories Grapple games happening just the week before. After a short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue our show now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
Best idea to include that theme last minute, because we're actually gonna have a different theme. I won't say what it is now, but but we changed it last minute, and we thought, oh yeah, that has a whistle to it. So it's Rammstein's Angel, for anyone who doesn't know. So
Great song.
yeah, so Fight Factory Pro Wrestling's Grapple games, which took place at the Big Sean the past weekend. No, I wasn't there for a change.
No, you weren't.
No.
I was on reporting duties.
Yes, it's usually me who's on reporting duties for these type of shows, whereas you're not there. It seems like the tides have turned. I was in England last weekend, hence why I wasn't there.
You'll see why I shouldn't be left there alone now later on.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I know nothing about this, so it's all you, man, for a change. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's usually me who talks about the shows.
No pressure.
It's usually me every time we review a show, especially an OTT show. It's usually me talking in depth about the whole thing, and you listening to the whole thing. But for me, I'm listening and you're saying.
Well,
so.
no. When it comes to Fight Factory shows, it's normally both of us are there.
Yeah, but I mean like OTT shows or like the odd show, I suppose. But
You know my problem with OTT shows.
I understand.
If they keep the shows in
The arena.
Sir Sure Road or National Stadium, I'm at every show.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
Right.
Oh, they're gonna have to soon, obviously, because it's Tivoli.
Yeah. Anyway, go for it.
Anyway, opening to the show was like all the past episodes. Rick Nash comes out, obviously GM of Fight Factory for people who aren't in the know, which they really should be in the know. Talks about what Fight Factory has been wanting to do for the last while with these episodes and how it's growing. And how that they are making a mark. Out comes Phil Boyd.
Right. But before I continue, what was the attendance like? Was it feel big? It felt like more than ever. Really?
Yeah. There was people standing against the wall. They had to try and find seats for.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Was packed. It was great.
Enough said.
Great
really.
to see.
So it shows they actually literally are growing.
Yeah. Phil Boyd comes out and he's questioning GM Rick why he's not on the card. But Phil also then goes on to thank everybody involved with Fight Factory, fans, everybody, for making Fight Factory what it is today. Be Cool's music then plays. And he comes out and he's asking that he's been here from the start. And he's saying that it's bollocks that he's not on the card. So, you got Phil, you got B.
Impromptu match.
They go, and he's like, impromptu match.
Nice.
You're going to do this. You're
Nice.
going to do this. And we're thinking, this is going to be a match. Here we go.
What happens?
Owen Richards comes out.
Okay.
Next. Owen Richards comes out, obviously, one member of...
The Super Nintendo.
No, new team.
Oh,
New
sorry.
team. Was it Retro Galactic?
Yes, something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Himself and John Bernard.
exactly. And he says that... he's not on the card, but he wants to prove himself. And he says, no better way to prove himself than two legends of Fight Factory. So he then mentions, why don't we make this a three-way?
Okay.
So here we go.
Right.
Triple threat.
Right.
Whose music plays?
I don't know.
Dom Tuck.
Oh, for God's sake.
But he's not alone.
Okay.
He is not alone.
Right.
Dom Tuck then comes out, followed closely by Devin West,
Right.
Dylan Smith,
Right.
and Connor Day.
Well, it's
Not
you
Shea
mean-
Hurley.
You mean Troy Mandos instead of Dylan Smith's? I think he went. He actually told us about this. I think I saw something on Twitter before he went on the show saying it's who's Dylan Smith, by the way.
Okay.
Remember? I think he was pointing at you towards that. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry.
Well, I apologise, Troy.
Yeah. So Troy.
Troy.
Devin Weston. Who else? Sorry.
Connor Day.
Connor Day. Right.
Not Shea Hurley, who I made the mistake of doing that on Twitter. I'm very sorry, both Shea and Connor. Very, very sorry. Okay.
I once got teased for mixing up names. I'm just saying.
Oh, God. So bad.
Anyway, go on.
They surrounded the ring, shield style, getting ready to attack Boyd, B, and Owen. But all three fought them off. They fought off Devin, Connor, and Troy. And everything was right with the world.
So it's
But
basically.
Dom Tuck comes into the ring.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, he's not standing for this. So he goes to attack. It was Phil. He tries to run off the ropes and clothesline Phil. Doesn't work.
Oh dear.
So around, Dom gets the finisher treatment from everyone, including the world's longest small package.
Oh dear God.
It was at least a 3-minute count.
Really?
At least a 3-minute
Seriously?
count. Oh, God.
Was he breathing afterwards?
I think he was dead. I think he was dead.
His mouth was probably stuffed with
But
his mum's cardigan by then.
afterwards, he rolls out of the ring, and that's it. And three guys are shaking hands together. And then it comes to Owen and B shaking each other's hand. But then Owen thinks it'll be funny to do the whole fake handshake, you know, playing, goes like
so here he was
trying to play games.
So here he was being so
would be
respectful,
cool.
saying how they're both legends, but then go whoosh,
Yeah,
just so.
trying to be cool. And then he goes, no, sorry, B, I'm only playing with you, B doesn't like that.
Okay.
Brainbuster, there you go. For your troubles. Stick to playing consoles instead of playing with people there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nicely said, by the way.
Next up was the next gen match.
Okay. Who's up this time?
The returning Justin Daniels against John Bernard.
Okay. Did Justin have a go at you this time?
No, Justin was looking for you.
I
I don't think he could see you, and I wasn't at the front. I was 2 or 3 rows back because I got there.
Justin, have a go at Daragh.
I was 2 or 3
look for
rows
me.
back. He couldn't find me.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, but you know what Daragh looks like. You should search for him. I mean, I don't know. Do your spiel before. I don't know. I mean, appreciate it, but I'm flattered you're looking for me, but you know.
Yeah. Daniel's back, of course, after impressing at episode 5, where he had his right go at you. Bernard back after also taking part in the show, but in the intergender 6-person tag match.
Yes.
Bernard showed off his mysterious vial again before the match, which has some sort of stuff into it, but we'll get into that in a second. But before the match started,
you once questioned him for
still
for
question
jokes.
it.
Okay,
I still question it, and you'll find out why.
All right, go for it.
But the ref saw this. Ref Eddie Sideburns.
Oh, lovely. Eddie's back.
Eddie Sideburns. Yeah, it was. We had 2 refs interchanging between matches.
Okay.
So really, really good match between these two. Daniels showing how good of a heel he really is. Just the smallest things that he's doing just to show off.
Like what?
Being a heel. Just, the simple things that work so well, like outside of the ring, he's going to throw Bernard into the crowd and he gets him like move.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Throws him back in the ring.
But like, is his face is like on point as well?
Sorry.
So in other words, like
his facials. Oh
yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah. He's like
what he says,
vicious, dangerous. Like he'll hurt you if he can in that ring.
He's a growing young lads. He's only 14, 15, isn't he? Once again, disgustingly young.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment, Justin.
Bernard showed great athleticism during during the match, and after failing to hit his scissors kick finisher a few times, he finally got his hands on his vial while ref Eddie Sideburns was distracted. And he gave him a power and health boost, it seemed to.
Okay.
Which should be tested for, because that is performance enhancing. That is clearly the definition of performance enhancing.
Well, I wonder if there's
he was in trouble. He couldn't hit his scissors kick finisher. He was getting beat down. He didn't have the strength to come back in this match. He takes this vial and he gets a strength and health boost. And a speed boost, probably.
It was probably Lucasades.
Performance enhancing.
Yeah, but Lucasades. It could be something just to boost his sugars.
I don't know. But he does then hit his scissors kick on Daniels for the ref to count to 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, that's 2 next-gen losses in a row for Daniels. But he's not really losing these matches because he is making a statement to the crowd on who he is. And of course, he will have a bright future in not just Fight Factory, all around Ireland. I'm sure.
Exactly, 100% agree.
Yeah. Funniest match of the night was next.
All right.
From I believe, anyway.
All right, go for it.
The blindfold match between the Enterprise and the Armstrongs making their debut at Fight Factory.
Oh, can't you imagine? Go for it.
Brilliant match. Brilliant match from...
Yeah, all 4 had blindfolds on.
All 4 had blindfolds on at all times.
Oh, God.
So you can think of the hijinks that was gotten up to. So you've got Marion and Butch actually in the ring facing each other, thinking that they're facing one of the other members of the Enterprise. You've got the same thing with Liam and Luke doing the same thing against each other.
Yeah.
Incredibly, while they had their blindfolds on, I think it was it Marion? I think it might have been Marion. Was Marion or Butch? I can't remember. Oh, it pains me that I can't remember this right now.
You don't know the difference between the two at this stage?
No, I can't remember. I obviously know the difference between the two.
Yeah.
But I can't remember which one did this.
Okay, go for it.
They did a dive with the blindfolds out in the ring. It was brilliant.
Wow.
One sad part about the match that I didn't get to see, which I think we should have seen.
Right.
There was no nipple cripple.
Yeah, but maybe you have to understand that maybe if you do a spot so often, it takes away its impact.
But
You know what I'm trying to
it's
say?
one of those like signature spots.
Yes, but it's also
There's a point where you do a spot too much and one becomes a signature.
yeah. But,
It's more in the signature.
but can you understand how it can be like there's that
Well,
fear of
wouldn't
using
it
it too
wouldn't
often?
be perfect for this type of match though.
If it was using the wrong person, then it'd be very funny.
Use on everyone.
Okay.
Like if
If
all four are in the ring and he's doing it to someone,
If he did it
and
on the
someone's
referee-
screaming, they're naturally going to go towards the sound. Like I'm not going to try and explain it because
if he did it on the referee, I'd laugh.
I would have done it on the referee at some stage as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they tried to wrestle the referee, of course. Obviously. But the ending was when the ref was down, obviously, because it's a blindfold match. The ref is obviously going to get hurt in this. But
The fact that referee takes a hit.
Luke
whilst
and
the blindfolds.
Liam of the Enterprise took the blindfolds off. Low blows to the Armstrongs. Finishing maneuver. 1, 2, 3. The Enterprise get another win. They're on it. That's a hot streak. They're on a Fight Factory.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fight Factory shows. But it's not the last time we'd hear from them tonight.
Okay.
But really, really good match. Really, laughed the whole way through. And you know my friend Podge.
Yes.
I brought him, and he's not a wrestling fan. This was
Okay.
his first wrestling show he's ever been to.
Okay.
Loved it. Loved the show. Loved everything about this. He was getting into it and everything with the chance by the end of it.
Yeah,
He
that's what he wants.
Loved it.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
he
just
wants.
infectious. It is infectious.
It is get infectious, so I totally get that.
We'll move on then to Katie Harvey against Raven Creed.
Ooh.
Amazingly, the first time these two have fought each other in a singles match.
Yeah, don't think they never wrestled each other in
In
Cork
like
before.
multi-person matches, yes,
Yeah.
but not in a singles.
Wow.
Crazy.
I'm surprised it's the first time,
Crazy.
but anyway.
Quality, exciting match. Loved it from both. The chops alone from these two. I'm surprised you didn't get shivers down your
Raven's chops,
spine
Raven's chops
from bloodstock from these shivers. Or from these chops, I should say. Both girls.
I'm wondering where that painful feeling in my chest came from on Friday evening.
You didn't get chopped from Katie when you had to do your forfeit, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, you
that
didn't.
was
No.
from Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yeah.
She chops hard as well, though.
Well, sorry, I'm after losing.
So
my
you're
voice.
on the
yes,
chops.
sorry, it makes amazing. Yeah, Katie Harvey gets the win after a really, really good match. With like an inverted version of her finisher.
So it's not like the gory special. It's a very different version
It's
of
kind
it.
of like it was kind of like you know, with the gory special where she kind of has them on their back. And
Yeah.
but she did it in the front instead.
Okay.
Yeah, to finish it.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So really interesting. Hope she moves forward and keeps using that.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with an alternative
Really
finisher.
good match for both. That's 0-2 from the Cork people coming up for the show.
Yeah.
Just shows that us dubs are better.
Well,
Can't do anything about it.
I-
Can't do anything about it.
well, you can't say they're not trying.
Last match before the interval.
Right.
Irish Tag Team titles.
Okay.
More Than Hype against Collar and Elbow.
Okay.
These four together are just so good.
Yeah.
But, and I may get in trouble for this,
Go for it.
but I thought this match was better than their one at episode 4.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I thought the story of this was so much better.
Okay. Now, what made it so much better?
Just,
It's your opinion, so that's grand. But what made it so
Yeah,
much better?
I know.
Because that was for me one of the best matches of the
it was.
by far and away this year.
It was. And I thought this was better. I think
Please tell me why.
the story, these guys work so well together. The story of like Nathan just trying to get into the match all the time.
Oh, so he was seeking revenge for the hits from
Was
episode 4, was it?
exactly. Darren could not tag him in no matter what. Like, Dean and Justy had him cornered. They always found ways to get to Darren. Featuring also double fish hooks. Justy and Dean fish hooking. So you think it's bad when Justy would fish hook, Dean in
So Darren was like almost isolated the entire time from Nathan, and so you didn't see any action, but you got more and more anxious as the time went on.
Exactly. He tried to push and tried to get there. Eventually he did, and the great hot tag. The finish as well was fantastic. Like we said, they were doing the double fish hooks, and they were going move for move as well towards the end. There was one point where when Dean and Justy had both Darren and Nathan in submissions.
Right.
They held on to each other to not tap out. Then they did the thing that, which is really hot right now, was a perfect thing where one person threw one onto the other to break up the other submission as well as their own. The finish as well was great as well, because then Darren and Nathan both did a double half crab on Justy and Dean. So they did their double finishers or double submissions too. Justy and Dean are holding on. They're holding hands too to make sure that they don't tap out, but they couldn't find a way to get out of the move, and they both unfortunately had to say, no, we can't take this anymore, and both tapped out.
So it's very similar to Gargano to DIY against Survival.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. Really, really good match. Like my well, obviously at the main event it was match of the night, but for obvious reasons. But this was right up there.
Awesome.
Right up there. Then as Darren and Nathan are celebrating at the end of the match, about to go into the back, Enterprise comes out and attacks.
They attacked them.
Yep. Announcing that they want to be the next challengers for the tag titles.
That's a match I want to see.
And that is exactly right. That is the match I want to see also. And I can't wait to see at episode 7. Whenever episode 7 is announced. They haven't announced it.
Didn't announce it, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, really good 2 tag team matches were fantastic. They're setting up for the next one as well. And I think that the feud that these 4 are going to have is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, because the Enterprise are doing so well lately, aren't they? So
they're on a hot streak.
Absolutely
on a hot streak.
And these are 2 young teams. This is a rivalry that could go on for a long time as well if they let it.
Exactly. Done right, and if it's and they're in good hands at the moment, with obviously in Fight Factory, so it will be done right.
Yeah. So what happened after the break?
Well, we had our break. Straight after the break, we had Club Rock Shandy come out and call out Tron and JDP.
Okay, no, a match wasn't officially announced. Like Rick wouldn't allow them.
Sanctioned match.
Yeah,
yes.
Rick wouldn't allow them.
Rick would not allow. So Club Rock Shandy come out. Now I was a little late to this because I was actually still in the bathroom. So by the time it came out, this match had already started.
Right.
But it. Like they put up a great effort. I'll say that, but they were no match for Tron and JDP. At one point, Tron was they were throwing them around so much that they actually put the ring out of place.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you'll hear more about that in a second. But throwing them around shops. Like at one point, Tron threw Klong into a bunch of chairs outside the ring.
Right.
Martin and Klong fought back fantastically. They did get a bit of momentum. One had a kendo stick, the other one had an umbrella. Broke the umbrella over Tron's head. Almost broke the kendo stick over JDP's head. Got a step ladder at one point to help with a dive over the top rope. Martin Steers did towards Tron, but actually Tron caught him midair.
Oh no.
Slammed him down.
Oh dear.
Then it was a double finisher. I can't remember the name of the finisher. On Klong for the eventual 1, 2, 3. and JDP and Tron win the unsanctioned match against Club Rock Shandy. Like I said, despite a great effort, they couldn't get the win out of the bag, and unfortunately, it was JDP and Tron that left Fight Factory with the win.
Okay, so we'll have to see what happens there anyway. So
we'd like to see more of this going forward. Maybe in a sanctioned match, I'd like to see.
It'd be more out of considering this was no holds barred, where it would be more of an advantage for them to win when you think about it, because they were able to use hardcore and weapons and stuff like that. If they're in a proper match, would that play less in their favour?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. But I feel like they're the type of people that are so determined to actually get revenge that they will continue their fight for it.
Yeah, true. Anyway, go on.
We'll move on, and we'll move on to the semi-main event of the night. Doug Williams against Sean Maxigus.
Okay.
Yeah. In what is probably Williams' last match in Ireland.
Yeah.
First time seeing him wrestle live, and so the man is fantastic.
You never saw him in Contenders, no?
No.
No, okay.
Did I see him at Contenders?
He was wrestling Michael May a couple of times. In Contenders, no?
No. He only wrestled him once in Contenders. Joe Coffey wrestled him a couple of times.
I think, one was against Michael May. I don't know if it was both matches, but it might have been one with Coffey and one with May, actually. They mentioned it, so.
Yeah. Really, really good technical match as well. Like his match with Michael May, too. Like these guys both bringing in their influences, obviously the British style from Doug and the Japanese style as well from Maxer. Not a lot of high flying in this, and it showed a different style of wrestling, which I really, really liked as well. It kind of gave everyone a view of like it's not all fast paced, high octane, like diving everywhere and stuff like this. This is the technical stuff. This is the bare bones of wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was a masterclass of wrestling.
Awesome. Between
these two. You'll like if you like wrestling, like if you like the core fundamentals of wrestling, you will love this match.
Awesome.
It was Doug Williams to get the win with a roll up on Maxer. The two shook hands afterwards, and Doug then goes off to I'm not going to say pastors new, because he actually hasn't retired yet, and he could have come back to Ireland again.
Who knows?
But with the run that he's on in progress at the moment, where if he loses the Atlas title, he's retired, it could be at any stage.
Yeah, true.
You know, I have a feeling it'll probably be the Wembley show.
Yeah, could be.
You know, because
it's not
Wembley,
way to go out.
Big stage, great way to go out.
Not bad way to go out.
Exactly.
Main events.
Main events.
Now, first of all, was this an elimination match?
No,
it wasn't.
Straight up, one fall.
All right.
Perfect as well. It was the right thing to do.
Okay.
Right thing to do. I think an elimination, could have possibly made it a little messy.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. This match was. Oh, sorry. Before we go into this.
Right.
Before the Sean Guinness and Doug Williams match.
Right.
Like I said, that the ring was out of place.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this. I swear, I'm forgetting to mention it.
Yeah.
Match of the year happened.
Match of the year happened.
Yeah. Match of the year. Phil Boyd versus The Ring. They did the raffle after this match.
Okay.
After the Tron one, because they obviously needed to make some time, because the ring was properly out of place. Like.
Okay.
And Phil was trying his hardest, like kicking every side of the ring he could to try and get it sorted out. At one point, his leg almost went through the ring. But him versus The Ring, match of the year, Dave. If they put this on the VOD, this will be match of the year.
Did he try to give a small package to one of the ropes or something like that?
If he could have put the ring in a small package, he would have to fix it. He tried so hard. He was kicking it for a good while, and I thought the thing was going to break at one point because of it. But he did get it fixed.
Yeah, right.
Well done to Phil. He did. All right. Some of the lads did try to help, but I don't think they were helping.
Didn't know how to.
I think Phil was just more like, I got this. Let me do this.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Keep doing the raffle. Keep having people distracted. But people actually weren't even paying attention to the raffle. They were paying attention to Phil.
Anyway, main events. So
Anyway, main event, like we said, Jordan Devlin, Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion, defending his title against LJ Cleary, J Money, Sammy D, Valkyrie, and Michael May.
right.
Brilliant. Just everything about this match was fantastic from start to end. Each guy getting obviously their moment. J Money, one of the standouts of this, offering money to people to do moves for him.
Okay.
At
Really?
one point, he was like, or when he was real, like, if there was a really good exchange between, say, LJ and Jordan at one point, he'd be just like, that was really cool. You have some money.
Speaking of exchanges, was there one between LJ and Valkyrie?
Not a prevalent one, but they were having exchanges churning.
Yeah,
you know?
but there was nothing that was obvious or anything like that.
No,
okay.
it wasn't. There was an obvious part between Michael May and LJ, which I think could continue into a feud maybe later.
That's true,
on,
yeah, they
because of the promo they had before. They had I think they made the agreement before and would keep it in the factory or something. They said
Yeah.
that if it's that, make sure at least one of them wins. At one point, it was we thought that LJ was going to win. And before the ref could count 3, Michael pulled him off.
Oh,
Yeah.
and were they back and forth at each other?
Then
when
they
that
were
was-
back and forth after that. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, with J Money, like, at one point he gave it to Jordan. He gave money to Jordan. He was like, or Jordan, what did he do? I think what it was, he ran up to the ropes and then he backflipped over as someone was coming over to him. And then while I can't remember who it was. Was it Michael? Might have been LJ. And
Right.
Let's say it was LJ,
Right.
for argument's sake. While LJ was in the corner, because he just ran straight into the turnbuckle, J Money was like, "That was brilliant. Have some money." And then Jordan was just like, "Thanks." But just drops it down in his pants and just keeps them for later.
There we are.
But Valkyrie,
Right.
her exchanges with Jordan and LJ were fantastic. Canadian Destroyer off the top rope.
Seriously. So what? So is it like So how's that possible? So when she goes off the top rope, she just jumps on them and then does it, or
It was okay.
It's part of the move.
It's kind of like, yeah, but not a jumping Canadian Destroyer, if you know what I mean.
yeah? But so is it one where she jumps from the top rope, jumps like as if she comes into the ground with the floor and then goes into
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
So like that was Adam Cole's finisher when he was in the Indies, where he
Yeah.
jumped off, so except it wasn't from the top rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. A
Impressive.
springboard Hurricane DDT to LJ as well. Unbelievable stuff.
I can imagine.
Unbelievable stuff. Then the finish now. I don't know if you've heard or not, but the finish was
You told me about this.
messy.
Yeah.
Was messy. Valkyrie, I think, what was it? It was I can't remember.
Was it her scissors
it?
kick and moonsaults?
It was a great exchange with Jordan. Jordan was putting her in for the package pile driver. She gets out of it. Spinning kick. Moonsault. Should be 1, 2, should be 3. But I think the ref... See, I was at a bad angle because Jordan and Valkyrie were covering my view of the ref.
Okay.
From where I could see. But I think when he was doing 1, 2, and then his hand hit the rope. So he didn't actually technically count the 3, but it was a 3.
Okay.
So then he just says, ring the bell. And then there was a bit of confusion
Right.
for about a minute or so, and it was kind of, I'll be honest, it was an awkward minute because people didn't know what was going on, and unfortunately it did take a little bit away from what should have been a fantastic moment. Like, it should have been the biggest pop of the year. Then people started to realise when she was given the title, and I think Katie came out and presented her with the title, that she's won it. Then people realised, oh, that's the finish. And then everybody was delighted.
Yeah.
Then she started getting the reception that she should have got. So Then the whole roster comes out afterwards as well, applauds her for a fantastic match, for a fantastic win. The first ever female Irish junior heavyweight champion. And
awesome.
Fantastic end to a fantastic show. Fantastic build up as well for Valkyrie on the way up there too. Beating the likes of Debbie Keitel and then beating Justy, of course, in the last show. And to get the pin on Jordan as well is massive.
It is indeed.
Really good show. I would recommend. I'm probably not doing the show justice of how good it was with my description.
You have me sold. You have me sold.
I'm just, everyone should go and watch this show on the VOD once it's available, if it's not already. Fantastic. Also, should give a massive congratulations to our Prediction League guest this week, Nathan McDonough, who was MC for the night.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So did a great job as MC.
Awesome stuff. So there we go. So that's our review for Fight Factory Now Grapple Games. Again, we don't know anything about. There's no announcement about what their next show is.
No, they're focusing on the Behan Omania show. Omania show.
Yeah.
Which is next week, I think it is.
Is it next week? I think it's the week after.
It could be. I could be wrong. Could be the week after. Yeah.
But anyway, it's coming soon anyway. So, anyway, let's continue our results now. Let's have a brief chat now about the conclusion of this year's G1 Climax. So we're going to talk about the finals, like the final 3 days from the Climax. It's such a shame we were away for most of the time off it, because it was a pretty good tournament. Like
it was a great tournament.
Yeah, it was an awesome tournament.
Well, it was a great B block. A block wasn't.
A block had its days when it didn't feel as sharp, but B block was really had all the standout matches. We want to talk about just the final days really, or the standout matches if you like, for Block A and Block B. So the Block A match, only one match. The Block A final 2 matches is like there's Evil and Jay White's. Like if Jay White won that, he would have been in contention to win, but unfortunately Evil beat him on that one. It was a good overall match, and they were more creative about like White's usual stuff, because the whole time he was sort of using like cheap shots to get through for wins. But in this case, it cost him against Evil, so and they ended up getting the loss. But the main match was Okada and Tanahashi. Like again, gone to a 30-minute draw, which seems to be their thing. Like now, like they've got that's their third draw now. Like since they started their rivalry back in 2012, I'd like to say.
Yeah.
So
I think it's around that time. Yeah.
Excellent match. Both men selling the high stakes of it, because it was so back and forth. Because Okada had to win to get through, and Tanahashi could afford the draw. And they play off their history as well, that's what I love about that type of match. They play off their history. They know each other so well from all their matches. If you've seen all their previous matches, is like between their first and their one to this, you'll get how it goes one after the other, like, you know. So and the fact that they beautifully teased Tanahashi losing by costing him to continually going for the high fly flow, which have been his downfall so many times as well. Because he can't help he can't help himself to go back or bottom to the dance in the end of the day, like, you know. Yeah. But in many ways, it also caused so many of his failures as well. And the whole crowds were sold, especially down the stretch. And it was a really good match. It was actually, for me, one of the best matches of the tournament. But not as good as the final 2 matches we're going to talk about.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah.
Almost the entire Block B final day was awesome. Yano and Yano. Here's the thing with the Tamatonga's matches. It's there's so much of it that you almost get sick of it sometimes.
Yeah, we talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that I don't think it worked.
Even with the threat of fine suspensions, and even with the chairman himself, I don't know his name, Harold something, who was threatening stuff, like, that doesn't help at all. Makes no difference. To do what they want when they want. Juice Robinson and Goto was a very good match. Like, Robinson removed his cast to avoid the possible DQ this time. I said it was fine. Good back and forth match. I actually can't wait now to see him in Dublin.
Yeah.
It should be awesome.
Lucky duck.
Really good match. Ishii against Sanada. Did you see that match?
No.
A terrific match. Ishii is for me now turning into one of the best wrestlers of the year. Like, you know, he's always in the outside bracket, you almost say. He always has great matches, but because of his competence or lack of them, he's always in the outside.
Yeah.
This year, his match quality is bringing him right up there for me. And Sonata, who this is in his breakouts year, I think. Like, he's really coming into his own now, I think, so.
Sorry about that. Yeah, for sure. The crazy thing is, only I think it was last year that it was reported that WWE were very interested in bringing Sonata in. Triple H was a big fan of him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that this is going to heighten his stock levels as well. He's definitely not someone that New Japan, I think, could afford to lose.
What's interesting about this match, though, for me, is Sonata. Sonata's very emotional.
Actually, here's a question. Okay, and we've seen a lot of tag teams in both the Best of Super Juniors and in the G1 take part this year.
Right.
Obviously, Evil and Sonata. Would you break them up and let them go on a singles run, or would you keep them as a tag?
They could do. They could. That's a good question, actually. Right now, they need.
Like you were
tag
saying,
teams,
like how
so
Sonata's the standout. Do you think because now he's
Evil stands out as well? That's the thing.
Oh, he does. He does.
They
So
both-
then that means you think that they would be better off becoming single stars then?
Both are probably equal, I'd say, just about equal in terms of where they are as singles compared. So therefore, they're better as a tag team.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do need tag teams in the heavyweight division, big time. Well, in general, but big time in heavyweight. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I'll stick him. But what I was going to say is Sonata, who's usually very emotionless, he had to really show more than usual to overcome Ishii in this match, though. And the crowd were really into it. Some great exchanges. Sonata may have lost, but it was a match where it's like I said with Justin Daniels earlier on. Like although he lost, it's like while he took the loss, he lost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he looked so great and he delivered the goods.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But Zack Sabre Jr. and Tetsuya Naito, that was a class match. Great match, filled with beautiful counters and callbacks to their match because they were competing in the New Japan Cup final earlier on this year. And not only was this great, but it was a lot of fun. And it was and they did a great job in creating the drama throughout the stretch. And it was a huge surprise in Zack Sabre Jr.'s win because, like, with the Sabre driver, which is similar to, ironically, to the Michinoku driver. Like, so it's almost the same move. So, and it was awesome, great match. But then you had Ibushi and Omega.
Yeah.
This was an incredible match, and one that's been years in the making. I actually have lost counts how long this has been anticipated for. Pretty much since Omega joins the Bullet Club, this has been waited for, like, you know. And it delivered. It's been teased for so long. Expectations are high, and thankfully, and there's always that fear that, like, it failed to live up, but it didn't. It not only did it meet it, it exceeded it. All the history and emotion behind it, like, never labored down the match at all, especially the long stretches, like, you know.
Yeah.
The commentary, for the way, I have to give a shout out to the commentary because I think Rocky Romero's doing a tremendous job being commentary now, along with Kevin Kelly, since Don Callis isn't around at the moment. So
Yeah.
but the work here was
Don
excellent.
Callis is making Impact Wrestling fantastic.
It is.
Oh. Sorry, I just thought of a good merch idea. Make Impact great again.
Well,
Also, did you see the Jericho tweet?
no.
2019 will be the year of Jericho. # free agent.
Ooh. Well, he already has a title, so he's technically a free agent, is he?
What?
He has a New Japan title. Is he technically a free agent?
Well, he's talking about, like, not working for WWE, and I think breaking that I'm not going to work for anyone else in America rule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But going back to this match, though, again, excellent work here was excellent, single-minded, with a complete sense of urgency. Both men showed that winning was their only priority, but particularly Omega. He showed a particular vicious streak, I think, but I think Ibushi got towards the end.
Yeah.
But it just got more and more intense. The crowd, as you could tell, were really into it. And this is for me, with the exception of Omega and Okada, match of the year.
Yeah?
Or between this and the last match as well, and the final is an argument as well.
Okay.
There's so many. Like, New Japan, if you never watched New Japan, what's wrong with you? Simple as that.
Dave.
I'm just saying. We'll get on to the finals themselves now. The only real match we're talking about is the final itself, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
well, also the fact that the Bucks and Marty Scurll lost their never openweight 6-man tag titles.
That's true. They lost to Gorillas of Destiny and Taiji Ishimura. Also, actually, now you mentioned, there's a couple other things to bring up. Cody Rhodes, after him and Hangman Page beat Juice Robinson and David Finlay in a tag match, Cody ran down Juice, declaring himself the next US champion, saying to Robinson that he is, quote, "You've done nothing but a bad impression of Kairi Sane." Ouch. Yeah. Also, when after the match between Toriano, Jay White, and Ishii against Omega, Chase Owens, and Yujiro Tanahashi, there's actually a very funny spot in this match where I think the Bullet Club guys were trying to do a groin stretches on all the Chaos guys, and I forget the valet for Tanahashi who comes in and was doing all the stance arounds and stuff like that, so that's motivation to pull more. But after the match, Ishii had challenged Omega for the title. So that's a match. That's a match again. I'd love to see that match. So, but
they have had great matches. So
Chase Owens is someone I want to bring up. He's a gem for the undercards in Japan.
Yeah.
If you look at the matches he has, he's really consistent. Very underrated. But let's get on to the match between Tanahashi and then Tanahashi and Ishii, with Omega in Ibushi's corner and Shibata in Tanahashi's corner. And just when you think you've seen something great like Ibushi and Omega, then something like this comes out of nowhere. And what surprised me the most is how Tanahashi is still there, and we think now he's fading. He's 41 now. You think he's fading now, and he's getting towards the twilight of his career. And this shows me why he's one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. To have a match like that, because this is the guy who was New Japan when it was at its worst, and has contributed to their rise. But by God, there's no reason to think now, after seeing this match, his skills are fading. Yeah. He's still up there big time. This match was incredible. This is arguably the greatest final I've ever seen.
Oh really?
Now, mind you, I haven't seen too many finals. But of the ones I've seen, but comparing this to Omega Goto and Naito Omega from the past 2 years, this is by far the best final.
Oh, okay.
By far the best final.
Yeah.
The pacing, the way they captivated the crowds, Bushi flipping the switch into violence to answer Tanahashi's challenge. It's such an intriguing match in the sense because Ibushi idolizes Tanahashi. He's actually a god to him, and it's almost like he's slapping God in the face. Yeah, especially during that exchange where they tried to outslap each other. Remember that bit?
Yeah.
But Tanahashi dug deep, had an answer. Finally overcame the ace one more time in the end. Here's a nice way of putting it. Ibushi's arms were long enough to box with gods, but they weren't powerful enough to beat him.
Ooh, good analogy.
Yeah.
Who'd you rub that off?
I'm
only messing.
I'm only right to myself.
I'm only messing.
Great match though. In the end, it was Sabata who rised Tanahashi up on the shoulders, and obviously Ibushi left very disappointed. And now Tanahashi is gone to the going to be challenging now for the title in the Wrestle Kingdom 13, which is also announced as well.
Wrestle Kingdom 13 main event.
As it stands,
Tanahashi against Omega.
We haven't seen
it stands right now.
We haven't seen that match yet for the as such.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Totally okay with that. Who knows though? What if Ibushi challenged for the briefcase? They have a few occasions too.
They do. He has to defend it a couple of times anyway, at least. So
yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, that's our results for New Japan. We'll have a quick break, and when we return, we will talk about all the stuff happening in WWE coming up to SummerSlam weekend. So after this short break.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grolix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grolix Podcast. Listen to it at grolixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our results of the week with talking about the action in WWE. Once again, Raw is even for a go home show, it's still a rough show to watch. I have to be honest. Like so, like
You know what? I'll not be honest with you, Dave.
Yeah.
This week, I just didn't bother.
I don't blame you. I don't. You know,
just
you're better off. You're better
Did
off.
not bother.
Even for a go home show, though, just so you know. And here's the thing: you would have
I saw the thing last week,
right?
with the whole Brock and Paul thing.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, did Paul Heyman now not be with Brock or anything like that?" I was like, I saw this like 5 years ago, where everyone thought Heyman was breaking up with Brock because Brock turned on him, and then the very next week it was just a ruse. And what was it this week? It was all a ruse.
It was very entertaining, though. You have to, I can't admit that, though. Where Reigns came out saying he wants to leave the place that he found. He wanted to leave the place better than he found it, and he can't do that with Brock here.
Yeah.
And he's sick of him, and he wants to send him back to the UFC so much that he'll be up Dana White's arse.
Shh.
Eamon came
Should
out.
we?
What?
Should we go back to what we were doing previously?
What?
Should we just list the good and the bad?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So we're listing
okay.
the goods. And the good thing is definitely this
Sorry.
segment, I think.
Sorry.
Heyman arrived saying, like he has no chance with Brock unless Heyman tells him everything about Brock's secrets, and he can do that for Reigns and present the idea of announcing his name as reigning defending undisputed champion. He sees him as the future, and in 1 week they will appear side by side. With Paul as his advocate. Reigns said he's trying, but it's not good enough. Reigns said that he was groomed for this, and to look out for sharks, especially drowning ones like Paul. He wishes him well in his future endeavours, but Paul then said, you're right, he's drowning in the knowledge he learns from Reigns' father and uncle. Paul shared a phrase with in Samoan that Afa taught him, and burst out a paper in agreement to ask him to look over it, but before he looked at it, he maced him in the face. Out came Brock, kicked the bejesus out of him, choked him out with a guillotine, and then F5'd him. But it was a good segment, and it leads nicely to this match. Yeah. I'm enjoying the segments going up to this match. I am now. I don't know about yourself. You're still not feeling it?
It's all the same. It's all the same. And, like, I'm all for Roman winning, which I think he'll actually finally do. But nah.
We're mentioning Dean Ambrose's return for the contract signing as well.
You mean Jack Ambrose?
Jack Ambrose. Yeah,
Jack
he's
Ambrose.
massive, isn't he?
God.
He's
He definitely didn't take any days off.
He packed on the pounds, hasn't he?
Oh, Jesus.
I want to say the pounds, I mean the steaks, if you like, I suppose. So,
yeah.
No, fair play to me. Like, what do you think with his haircut?
It's neater. I like it. Does that mean he's not going to be Lunatic Fringe anymore?
Because he has no fringe left.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he didn't say Lunatic Fringe, did he? Or did Steph or even Michael Cole say it like that?
No.
It was a good segment to close the show, though, and the hype.
Isn't it just like I would have loved to have the camera to pan to Renee Young while she was on commentary when Dean Ambrose came out.
Speaking of Renee Young on commentary, I think that suits her very well.
Yeah. She's definitely better than Coach.
Or Booker T.
Yeah.
No, but she just reacts to everything. That's what you want sometimes from commentators, like,
Yeah.
But the way I see it, this Intercontinental title match is the most hype match gone into the SummerSlam from the Ross side, certainly.
Yeah, true. It's definitely not Balor and I keep almost cursing. I have to keep stopping myself. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you more work to do. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it though.
Don't.
I'm not going to say it. Well, I was going to say at least it's more. It's a better build-up than Constable Corbin and Finn Balor.
Or Elias and Bobby Lashley, which I personally think is worse.
Is that actually a match happening?
No, it actually isn't. That's what makes it worse.
Remember the reports when Lashley came back saying Lashley's coming back to take the title off Lesnar at SummerSlam, and Lashley hasn't even got a match.
There's nowhere to fit him. That's the thing. It's the same with a lot of situations.
You don't know where to fit him. You put him in the main event where he should be.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. He had some guy who idolizes Elias on Raw this week, dressed up as a cowboy.
Oh God,
that's the thing. Just stop it. It's a weird feud. Just
have you listened to his album yet?
No, I
haven't had the chance to either.
The Revival are challenging for the tag titles now, which I think is cool.
Yeah,
like they're sneaking in the wins now, if you like.
Yeah, so. There's rumours Matt Hardy hasn't got long left in WWE.
So we'll see what happens.
There's rumors
That's for me all that's worth mentioning Raw right there now.
Yeah.
You know, there's not even the need to mention the bad if you ask me. Let's just talk about Filous. But we'll get on to SmackDown, where I'm enjoying the hype now with Becky, Charlotte, and Carmella now for the women's title match.
Yeah.
You know, like all this back and forth now, and there is a competitiveness with Becky now in particular that I'm noticing. I'm still thinking there could be a heel turn that works.
Yeah.
It could easily be Charlotte though. Don't get me wrong.
It's probably going to. I think it's definitely going to be a new champion.
Think so?
Yeah.
You never know though. So because even when they had their match with they beat Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, where Becky won with the disarmer. It was a good match actually. And it was a twist for Becky she actually refused to tag Charlotte at one stage, letting Nadal do it.
Everyone's saying Becky is a heel. I can't see it.
But think about it. Think about how competitive she's getting. She's very determined to be women's champion again. Here is Charlotte, who just came in out of nowhere and is straight into the match. Do you understand how that would frustrate her?
I just can't see it. Because they don't let Becky talk because Kevin Dunn doesn't like her accent.
That was a few years ago.
Yeah. It's still... She doesn't talk, though, still.
Yeah, it's not like she doesn't talk at all.
Heels talk. That's why I just don't... I can't see it.
I'll have to see what happens anyway. But even when you said, when the best woman win, yeah, I will. You know, stuff like that. So it's stuff like that. Like
that's just a competitive friendship in them as well.
True, but you notice it more now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say as well. So, fair play to the guys putting together those video packages for Bryan and Miz.
That has been the best build-up video. Well, a bit like
3
series
parts.
of like that has outshone all their weeks of silly attacks.
Well, they highlighted that at the end, so.
I just like throwing the fake baby and stuff and being in inverted commas on the set of Mrs. and Mrs. No, it was that stuff wasn't for a few dispersonal. It just wasn't resonating, but those video packages just brought it back.
It's a real must-see part to think of SmackDown this week.
If you don't want to watch any wrestling this week, which I don't know why you wouldn't if you're listening to this podcast, but just watch the 3 video packages that they have hyping up The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Even going back to his his days in NXT. The fact that he was 0-10 with The Miz.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was incredible. And then talking about how as soon as he had his first match in NXT,
or
that
outside,
he won
outside of the Miz's Twitter
outside of NXT, when he didn't have the Miz in his corner, he beats the Miz.
Yeah, straight away.
I'm hoping they like the last time I was looking forward to a match this much was the WrestleMania match between AJ and Shinsuke. Don't disappoint us, please. Make the build up. Make the outcome live up to the build-up.
Here's the thing: it has someone who I believe is probably one of the most capable person of having at least a 4.5-star match, and that's Miz.
I'd agree. Yeah.
So that's the thing. There's more hype between for Jeff Hardy and Nakamura after Jeff beat Shelton Benjamin, and Randy Orton being very creepy standing behind the curtain. And considering what we heard in the news, it makes it more creepy.
Yep.
But
Randy Orton waiting for the writers to come into work,
literally jerking the curtain. But then it had the hype now between AJ and Joe, where apparently Styles came. Well, first of all, like Joe's fantastic, by the way, and the way he delivers promos.
I didn't like this. I didn't.
Well, the usual way he delivers it, what I'm trying to say.
The way to build up AJ Styles and Samoa Joe is a note.
But he's making it very personal to put AJ off his game because AJ has a temperament and he's taking advantage of that.
Remember that stupid one that he did in Impact with AJ where they had this girl claiming that she has his kid and stuff like that, trying to make that personal? It's just it's similar to that, and I'm sorry, B, I'm taking a word out of your vocabulary, but it's bollocks. It is, Dave.
I don't know. I think it's...
Come on. These two guys. These two. And you're using a note talking about how AJ's wife doesn't want him to win, or he doesn't really want to be with her, or doesn't like wrestling.
Whatever the case, it makes it more intriguing. It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't make this more intriguing.
Why?
Because I'm already uninterested now because of this stupid note.
Seriously?
Yeah. Matt, let's take it back. Okay, let me just take it back. Okay. Remember the build-up for Samoa Joe against Brock Lesnar?
Yes, that was fantastic.
Yes, it was. Because Samoa Joe could be Samoa Joe. That's not Samoa Joe. That's some nonce reading a note.
But he's doing it in a way
That's
that
a Twitter troll, that is. That's a Twitter troll. What he's doing. That's a keyboard warrior thing, reading a note or pretending to write up a note. You know? But that's a badass with the Brock Lesnar stuff.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we see more of that? Joe's character since he's come to SmackDown is this guy that will just beat up anyone and will choke anyone out.
But he's still being a badass, though. He did this almost every show before this.
But why did you have to change it and do a note before that?
It gives it more.
No.
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yeah, that's the words.
But no, you've got this. No.
We can agree to disagree. I think it adds
I
to
think we are unfortunately going to disagree on this.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll move on to 205 anyway. The only real thing to talk about was probably Lio Rush took on Akira Tozawa once more. Very good back and forth match. With Leo been taking deeper waters this time and overcoming, so he's already 2-0 against the former cruiserweight champion, and 5-0 since he came in. So he's been doing an awesome job so far.
Yeah.
But then Alexander took on Jack Gallagher, and it was a very good match because it's nice to see Gallagher get some time. And while it's a good match, it's like I love the method behind its madness in a way, because I'm gonna put this. I saw someone do talk about this in a way where have you ever seen Star Trek Voyager before?
The movie or the TV show?
The show.
I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah, do you know the guy who was the Kazon Gambit?
No.
Well, basically, he's the type of guy who sees the enemy engage in a series of attacks and battles, but not in for the goal of winning. That's basically what Gallagher did, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I'm just trying to compare it. It's a very nerdy reference. I'm not even the nerdy type, but I just heard it and I thought, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
But the goal was to attack the primary target and focus on weakening one key point. While the final battle comes, the target is significantly weakened in the area enough for the attackers to finally clear a pathway of attack, which is for Gulak. Mm-hmm. But in the end, though, it was still Alexander who got the win in the end, but Kendrick and jumped him straight away. Gallagher joined in, and Gulak then took him in the Gulak and then had the title over him. So Gulak's very strong gone into the Cruiserweight title match then for SummerSlam. As for NXT, the Street Profits beating the Mighty using some shady tactics against shady tactics of Mighty of the Mighty. Kairi Sane sent a message to Shayna Baszler by being particularly vicious against Aaliyah, like finishing her off with 3 elbows before she used that version of her sharpshooter. Now having a bit of a who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin thing with Aleister Black.
I saw that.
Yeah.
With the security footage.
It's clever, I have to say. Even though it's something we've seen before, I like it.
As long as they claimed he didn't do it for The Rock, I'm okay with it.
Why would he use it for The Rock?
That's what Rikishi's.
Oh yeah.
I did it for The Rock. Who do you think did it?
Oh, it could be anybody. I reckon it's someone who's unexpected. It's easy to think someone like Gargano.
Yeah.
He had
I thought maybe it could have been
Cassius
someone like.
Cassius
See,
Ohno.
I think it's someone who's a face and it's their opportunity to turn heel.
Cassius Ohno.
Yeah, it could work. He needs a boost.
Big time. They also had a segment between EC3 and Velveteen Dream. I'm actually looking forward to that match big time now. That should be really. It's going to be one of the dark horse of matches for the takeover. Yeah. And then Tyler Bate beat Roderick Strong in a very good match actually. A lot of fun, and the Hyperstar tag team match a lot. That's when you talk about the tag team matches always deliver in the takeovers, don't they?
Yeah.
That's going to be first match I think as well.
It will be the one to get the crowd ready.
100%. So that's why it makes sense to have it as the first match there. We'll finish off our show now anyway with our yes nos.
Yes! No! Yes! No! Yes! No!
There isn't too many to bring up anyway this week, so we'll just get through them very quickly. Asuka to be added to the SmackDown Women's title match to make it a 4-way.
No.
There's rumours of it, so...
No, where would that come from? Like, how can you incorporate that into it? It just...
I know. I just heard a rumour. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
The same goes for Randy Orton to be added to the US title match.
No.
Do you think either Asuka or Orton could even play a part in either match?
Oh, yeah. Orton
probably, but not Asuka.
I don't think so.
Jason Jordan and /or Big Show to return at SummerSlam.
Big Show says he wants to be back in a couple of weeks.
He says he's fit again.
Yeah. Who does Jason Jordan like? Jason Jordan's going to have to interrupt something if he takes it. But who's he going to interrupt?
Seth Rollins.
Why?
Because he used to team up with him, and there was a bit of back and forth before he left his injury.
But why would you do that? Why would you do that for someone that just returned as well at Dean Ambrose?
Bitchiness, I suppose. I know. I'm trying to think of any way he could come back, but that's probably
I can't see it. Night after, maybe, but I don't think the night of.
Bray Wyatt's to be repackaged.
Looks like it. Rumours are circulating. I'm seeing just now that Matt Hardy's going in for surgeries now. He's going to go through some various surgeries to
for his legs.
Various niggles. I don't know what it's for exactly. But it's not a guarantee that he's going to come back.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have to probably look at repackaging Bray Wyatt. But what do you repackage Bray Wyatt as?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
You know?
We have to wait and see. Finally, Rey Mysterio to resign with WWE next month.
Resign.
To return to WWE next month.
But he's taking part in New Japan.
After that and the
All In.
Yeah.
He's in All In, and isn't he going to be? No, he wasn't announced for that WrestleMania weekend card. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's the pre-order bonus character for 2K19.
Yeah.
You're not going to be on that game if you're not going to be involved in WWE.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, it could be involved there.
Same reason why you think Daniel Bryant is going to is going to sign a new.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, now before we wrap up today's show, we have a quick announcement regarding ourselves and the way we do the show. Now, we recognise now we've done a show for a 2-hour formats for probably a year and a half now at some stage now, hasn't it now? So
a while actually,
yeah. So we figured now, especially the more we do it, we realise how listenability is important for a podcast or any show for that matter. So we're starting next week. We're going to be doing a bit of a different format on both the radio and podcasts that we do with the Kickouts. So starting next week, we'll be doing our radio show just for 1 hour rather than the 2 hours. So during that show, we'll just be talking about the regular stuff we always talk about. So the news, Irish previews, regular stuff for WWE, maybe callbacks for other stuff that comes up. Like we could mention it casually, like for example OTT and SummerSlam and so on, and the yes nos. But what we're going to be doing exclusively to our podcast, we'll be doing the separate full reviews for... And next week's going to be a busy week because we have both OTT shows, TakeOver and SummerSlam. So we figure it just makes a lot of sense because, even the most hardcore wrestling fans... And you know yourself, Daragh, like the most hardcore wrestling fans, especially a great example of SummerSlam, that's going to be almost 5 hours. It gets tiresome after a while, to watch or listen to something that long.
I won't even be able to watch SummerSlam live.
Exactly. You know what I'm trying to say. So we just thought, us doing it, the idea of doing a 2-hour podcast. Although it's good, it's an ask. It can't be an ask for even the most hardcore fan, realistically. Yeah. So we figured this just makes a lot more sense for you, the listener. It's less harsh on yourself. It's less harsh on us in the way. Although we're still technically doing the same amount of work, it's more spread out, and it's more well delivered in that sense. So starting next week we'll be doing we'll still be our regular time at 4:30 on 90.3 near FM every Saturday, but we'll be covering the basics on the regular show while doing exclusive reviews and previews and so on the podcast there, and we just feel that's the best way to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's that. So on that note, that's all the time we have this week on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides here on 90.3 near FM, on all good podcasting providers on the EMC Podcast Network. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, on Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes. Check out my Twitter at Dave Bandana and Daragh Zats.
Mars Bar.
And there we are. So we're heading into OTT and SummerSlam weekends now. So we have a lot to talk about next week. So
And it'll be the return of Daragh Mars Bar.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna do it for OTT?
Yeah.
You might as well.
No, I won't be able to watch it.
That's true.
You can do
What was my version of it again?
Dave Bananas?
Dave's how many Dave Bandanas are there?
Dave's Bandanas Bananas?
No.
How many Dave's Bandana Bananas do you give?
No, I don't like that at all. Don't like that at all. But anyway, next week we have a lot to talk about. We'll be talking about all the stuff from OTT, all the stuff from NXT Takeover, SummerSlam, and all WWE reaction after that. So we have a packed show for next week. But until then, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been The Kick Out, your weekly pro wrestling guide. Thank you so much for listening.